What's up, world? Welcome to the Jennifer Gray Show, a place where you can get unstuck, make shift happen, and not take life so seriously. And I'm super excited about today's show here on Jolt Radio, where we are every second and fourth Tuesday at 4 p.m.-ish. We have Jeremy Abramson, who is a health coach, a philanthropist, and a public speaker from Miami. He has dedicated his life to helping others unleash their full potential through different training, performance, and mindset practices. And he works with high-level CEOs, professional athletes, government officials on ways to optimize their health, happiness, and productivity. So I'm super excited to have Jeremy here on the show today. We're going to be talking about a favorite topic of mine, which is biohacking the body as it relates to speeding up your metabolism, weight loss, as well as longevity. And Jeremy's got some really interesting practices that he does with his clientele that he's going to share with us today. So, Jeremy, thank you for being on the show today. Welcome.
I really appreciate you having me. I'm so stoked to be here, exchange energy with you, and hopefully drop some knowledge that will impact some of our listeners out there for 2019, which is quickly approaching, actually.
My video is it's not happening today, so we're just gonna rely on your video, and I'll share it later. So how did you get on this journey of health and wellness? Like, even just personally, were you just born looking like that, or like what exactly?
How did
that all happen?
Yeah, so no, I was always, from a young age, I always played sports. I was always active.
Yeah.
And in college, it kind of, for the aesthetic purposes, I'm trying to look good, trying to be able to like feel confident talking to girls, whatever it is, right? So it was always a passion of mine, but I never saw it as a viable career that I could support myself and my family, right? So I studied business and sports marketing in school, and then a couple events led to others. I woke up one day and I just was not happy or excited for work. And I was busting my ass, not really getting recognized or compensated fairly. And I kind of just like gambled on myself, and I started to really dive deep into all facets of health. Started off with the training aspect, the thing that I was more familiar with. And then it kind of just led me down this awesome, incredible rabbit hole. And I've just really enjoyed this last 3 years it's been of just diving so deep, learning from the best in the world, and really practicing all these techniques on myself, and then giving them to my clients as tool to use, and watching them just grow and reach heights that they didn't think were capable of doing. So, yeah.
I love that. And I love that you really look at the whole person and the whole body, and it's not just the fitness aspect, that you bring so much of the mindset and the other practices in, because like we were speaking earlier, a lot of times why people fail is that things are not sustainable, right? And they get off to this great start, and then they start self-sabotaging themselves or whatever happens. And your approach, you've couple of different approaches I really thought were beautiful, how they deal with the whole person and setting people up for success and making it really practical and simple and easy for like the average person, not, the CrossFitter, the person who's like super into fitness, but for the rest of us folks out there.
The 99 percenters.
There you go, the 99. I usually like to be in the 1%, but in my area of health is my most challenging area for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a superstar, rock star in my career, and I'm unstoppable. And then in my area of health, which is why I've manifested you into my life, is where I just do this like upsy downsy thing in and out. And and we're not here to talk about me today, of course, but I am an all or nothing girl. Like, I am all in, eating linguine with clam sauce, having wine, bread, like not working out.
Yes.
And then I am all in being super clean and eating perfectly. And what happens is that is not sustainable, which I'm sure you hear all the time from a lot of your clients.
Right. So I think what you touched on is super important, and I'm sure everyone out there can relate to it.
Yeah.
And I really try to focus on implementing and adding small changes that in the long term, right, are going to make big, profound impacts. For instance, one of the big things I see is, what we're doing right now, right? Sitting. And people, they get up, they drive to work, and then before they know it, it's 5 p.m. and they've spent like 10 hours in a row sitting.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, okay, how can we incorporate? Maybe it's a 10-minute walk here, or maybe, we live in sunny Florida. Take a walking meeting, right? You put your headphones in, go outside and walk. Just or just try something little and try and gain consistency in that one thing, and then try something else, right?
Yeah.
And just keep exploring new things. And our body's capable of so much. And oftentimes our limiting beliefs and our self-doubt creeps in, like, oh no, I tried that diet last year and I
Didn't
failed.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really about having an open mind and just trusting yourself. Like, try something, commit to that one thing, right? Maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, and then graduate and try something new.
That's really cool. Like thinking about when you start on a program, you're trying to do everything at once, like you're trying to eat clean, you're trying to diet and exercise and meditate and journal. And it's just like you get like overwhelmed. But just trying to have a victory in that one area and create that as a habit. Like for 21 days, I'm taking all my calls. I did actually take my calls outside. It was so gorgeous today.
Yes.
So I had like 3 hours worth of calls, and for about an hour and a half of it, I walked around my neighborhood on
Beautiful.
the phone, and it was amazing. I even have a video because somebody's holding me accountable, so I'll show it to you.
So if I could touch on that, it's really
Yeah.
important, because if you look at guys like Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, they're really well known for their walking meetings. Over 80% of their meetings took place outside walking around.
Really? I didn't know that about them. That's so cool.
Yeah, and Stanford just came out with a really interesting study showing that just a 10-minute walk can boost creativity up to 60%.
Nice.
So I think we're all looking to be inspired by our creative side.
Yeah,
and we all
for sure.
have creative potential. And sometimes to unleash that, we just need to step outside and walk.
You know that the course I teach is about creativity from Stanford University.
Oh, look
You
at
didn't
that.
even know that.
Oh my God. that was a nice little segue,
I
right?
know, that's perfect.
That's called chemistry on the mic, folks.
There you go. It's happening live in action. So tell me about Climb, because that's a really interesting way to break down what you do with people.
Yeah, so 2019 is fast approaching. And I'm not someone who's big on New Year's resolutions. I think we should always have new day resolutions. Like
Yeah.
we should always be setting an intention and focus to improve each and every day.
Yep.
But, the year is like a monumental thing. So I understand that. So I was trying to think, like, how could we incorporate something simple yet powerful in 2019? And I came up with this acronym CLIMB. So what we'll do is we'll run through each one and we'll talk a little bit about each. And yeah. So before I start, the idea is I'm a huge believer that if we can master our morning, right, and win those first 30 minutes of the day before our days really get chaotic and shit hits the fan,
Yep.
we own our first 30 minutes. That's when we show ourselves the self-love and self-care that we need and deserve. So these are the 5 things that I suggest everyone do.
In the morning.
Yes.
Okay.
5 things. Number 1, C, cold exposure. So
I had that this morning when it was like 70 below zero in my house.
yeah, that's what it felt like. Everyone in South Florida, it was like 58 this morning,
Oh
and
my
everyone's like
God.
bundled
I
up
put
in their
the
sweater.
heat on. I was freaking out, so I did that. Check. No.
Right. No, but that's a great point, because it took people out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to 72 and sunny.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it goes a little below that, and our nervous system isn't prepped for it.
Yeah.
So being able to get in the cold and manage the cold is huge for a few reasons. So first of all, we talked about the nervous system being able to adapt to different conditions and temperatures. Yep. So in a place like Florida or wherever you are, we can do this by just a cold shower. So start off, take your normal shower, and then for 10, 15 seconds at the end, turn it all the way to the right and just feel that cold water. You're not going to want to do it. Your body's going to want to resist, but have that mental toughness to go through with it. And you're going to see a ton of benefits. So number one, we have something called brown fat adipose tissue.
That sounds gross.
Yeah, right? So it's actually a great thing that is recently been found in science, like the last 10 or 20 years.
Okay.
And it's this small percentage of fat that we have. Usually most of it's in between our shoulder blades. And what this fat does, if we can activate it, which the cold is great for doing, is it'll create warmth in the body and also catabolize our white fat cells. So it's great for weight loss.
Okay.
In addition to speeding up our metabolism.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's good for women over 40. We're all like, how do we speed up our metabolism?
Exactly.
What's the trick.
I can't relate to that demographic, but yes.
That's me.
Exactly.
So cold showers help you speed up your metabolism?
Yep.
Wow.
And also inflammation.
Okay.
Right? So ideally, I do ice baths. And I do like there's places all around the country, whatever city you're in, if you search like cryotherapy or cold bath or whatever, you'll find places that do this. And I encourage you to just give it a shot, but try just with the quick shower for now.
Okay. So quick shower for now, but in where I teach meditation at Upper Buena Vista, I passed one of the stores and it said the cryo, whatever it's called.
Right.
And I was like, what is this? So that's what that is? You go into a cold thing?
So, yeah. So these cryotherapy chambers are basically just like what it sounds like. You get in.
Okay.
You're wearing like boxers, socks, gloves, and it's basically freezing cold, like -200, like nitrogen vapor.
Wow.
And yeah, those are great. It's only 3 minutes.
Okay.
And those are great for convenience. Like it's not easy to find an ice bath. So cryo is a great
make one.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So it's a great alternative, but I really encourage you all out there to just try with a cold shower. And maybe for the first week, you do 15 seconds. And then the second week, we go for 30.
Ooh.
And then 45.
Right.
And then by the week 4, we're at a minute.
So is that ideal? Is a minute a morning? What do you do?
So
tough guy.
my showers in the morning, I usually like, it's pretty quick. It's like 2 or 3 minutes. I just get it all on my face, on my back.
The cold, 2 or 3 minutes.
And for me, the biggest benefits I see are like the mental override aspect.
Okay.
A lot of mornings I wake up, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I know if I do it and overcome that, it's going to translate into other components of my life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if I face a moment where it's like a difficult situation, a difficult conversation, I can always reference like, hey, 5 a.m., you jumped in that cold shower. Like,
right.
You're strong. You're resilient. You got this.
Got it. And you wake up at 5 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah. I wake up at 6:15.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It must be nice to sleep in like that.
Yeah, I know. It is. It's lovely. It's a luxury.
That's like a Sunday for me, 6:15. So, okay. So I know we dragged out the C. So we have climb. We have C, which is cold exposure.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, guys, these don't need to be done in this order. It's just to kind of make the acronym go smoothly.
Got it.
L is lubricate your organs. A fancy way of just saying hydrate.
Okay, I went somewhere else with that.
Right, I know. A lot of people do.
Lubricate. That threw me.
I know, right? I like to see where people's imaginations go. So
I had a lot of Vaseline on my liver. It was a weird, like, I didn't get it.
Oh my goodness. All right, we'll segue later.
Okay.
But for now, lubricating our organs. So a lot of times people go straight for that coffee in the morning, right?
Yep.
And what happens when we sleep is we actually lose over a pound of fluids, right? And we're in a dehydrated state. So it's really important first thing in the morning, have at least like 16 ounces of spring water. There's different forms of getting water, right? Filtered, this and that. But clean water, 16 ounces at least. And I like to put a little bit of apple cider vinegar and lemon in there.
Yep.
To aid the stomach, to aid digestion, and then also a pinch of pink Himalayan salt.
Okay.
which will kind of provide us the minerals and electrolytes we
Mm-hmm.
need that we lost from sleeping.
Oh.
And yeah, I think it's really important because I see people, and I've been guilty of it too. It's like, where's the coffee? Where's the coffee? I need that. And what we do when we drink the coffee, like first thing in the morning, is it goes straight to our bloodstream. Our cortisol levels spike through the roof. So it's not the best way to start the day.
Got it. Well, that's very enrolling because, like, I've always heard drink water in the morning, but I didn't know why, so I wasn't enrolled to do it. And I go right for the coffee. So I love this suggestion, and now I understand why. What is your view on, like, I've heard people say do warm water, or do you think it doesn't matter room temperature? Would you heat it up, or does it matter really?
So I try to stay away from extreme temperatures drinking, like with food.
Right.
So in terms of like the shower and like saunas, which we didn't get into, like that's good to get extremes, but
Yep.
not cold, not burning hot.
Right.
Warm is fine, like a tea. You can
Yeah.
almost make it a tea beverage. I usually just have it room temperature.
Yep.
So it absorbs quicker.
Okay.
The cold water, and this is a really big pet peeve of mine at restaurants, they always serve you cold water.
Yeah.
And that's terrible for digestion.
Yeah, my boyfriend always says, don't drink cold. I'm like, why?
Yeah, so it basically like restricts our gastric juices from going into our stomach, which helps us absorb and digest food.
Oh.
And it's crazy. Like, I don't know. We need to somehow like start giving.
We need a movement.
Yes, it's
No more ice cubes in hard water.
yeah. So I always usually stick to room temp at all times.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good question though. It's a good point to bring
But
up.
that's a good reason why to know why. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Lubrication.
okay.
Yep.
So I'm gonna ask you, what's C?
C is cold.
Good. L.
Lubrication.
Yes. Okay.
Which
Lubricate.
means water.
Okay. You said it in that voice. It's like
Yes, that's my
lubrication.
Jennifer Grace 1-900 meditation voice.
That's the lubrication voice. All right, folks. So we got cold, we got lubricate,
Yep.
and then which I'm sure this is a big part of your life, is intention.
Yeah.
And the idea here is to set a focus for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally like to write mine down.
Mm-hmm.
Other people may get more benefit from looking in the mirror and saying it out loud, like an affirmation.
Yep.
There's different ways, and everyone's different. Everyone's brain works differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I have zero dogma in terms of how you set an intention.
Yep.
What I generally do is I set what I intend to do. Maybe it's to make 5 people smile today, or just like to be extremely present with every one of my clients, right? And then I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, and then I do an affirmation too. Like, so again, it's a super simple writing exercise that I think I've seen make a huge difference for myself in terms of just like locking myself in and like really giving myself perception for the day, and like understanding like, wow, I'm so lucky and grateful for another day, like carrying out my mission, carrying out my dream. And I think oftentimes we get stuck in the grind and we forget that.
Yep. Absolutely. What I have my students is write down what they're committed to creating in their world on 3x5 cards.
Okay.
And then they read those every day, almost like, people forget their New Year's resolutions by February because they don't write them down and they don't visit them. And they did this really interesting study in Harvard, and they had 2 different groups. And one group, they said, write down your goals and visit them and read them often. And the other group, they said, what are your goals, and just verbally tell us. And then they watched them for 5 years. And the group that wrote down their goals and visited them and, read them often were 90% more successful than the ones that just verbalized them. So you're right. There is something to writing down what you're committed to creating and also revisiting it. So I love to make them on 3x5 cards. I have 1 intention on each card.
Right.
And then I have my students work with 6 at a time. And anytime one comes to fruition, I have them put a V on it for victory. So then, like I have a board that has all these V cards. And what that does is affirm the fact that I am able to manifest and have happen what I say is going to happen.
So each of your students has 6
6.
6 cards, and And how do those cards differ?
So one could be in their health, one for love.
Got it.
You know, for me, I have like 3 in the area of my career right now. So, and then sometimes I'm reading them. I'm like, I don't even want this anymore. I've grown out of this intention. And it's not exactly. So I'll rip it up and make a new one. Or if something manifests, I put a V on it for victory. So I
Love
always
that.
have 6 cards at all times. And that's my intention in the morning. Like I sit and I remember and look at what I'm committed to creating.
And I'm sorry, I'm super fascinated by this. I love
Yeah.
it. Do the students, do they carry their cards with them at all times, or do they
So some students who live in Miami have them in their car because they're stuck in traffic a lot. Instead of being angry and frustrated, they can sit and focus on their intentions. Most of
love
my
that.
students, I have them make like a little meditation station, whether it's, a corner of their home or somewhere. And I'm even making like TV trays now. So you have your candle, your incense, you have your aromatherapy, you've got your intention cards, you have a gong, like your whole setup. And then you can take it and you can meditate on your bed, or you can take it outside, or you can take it on your couch, and you have your whole meditation station and those cards sit in there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Something else I really love about that practice that you explained is the part about like celebrating the victories.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so often, and I'm definitely guilty of this, is like
Just
we don't
pass it by.
Yeah, like we have our mindset on something and then we reach it and it's like, oh, that was cool, like on to
Yeah,
the next.
totally.
Which is it, and it's like a combination of like celebrating that small victory regardless of what it is, and like also not really being satisfied. Like I still want more. You want more.
Sure.
But it's like, damn, that's pretty cool
Yeah,
what
I did that.
Yeah,
Totally.
I think that's huge.
That is. And sometimes we're not celebrating until we get to the final goal. And there's lots of little milestones, like even on a weight loss journey, like celebrating every 5 pounds or something,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
All right. So we got that covered. Intention.
Okay, guys. So we got climb. C, cold.
Cold.
L, lubricate your organs. I need to add that in there. I is intention. And M is move your body.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
And this doesn't have to be like a crazy workout.
Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes of just generating blood flow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to really help provide you energy for the day.
Yeah.
And it's also a great way to like express your gratitude. It's like
That you can move.
Yeah, I have 2 arms, I have 2 legs, and it's like I have the ability to synchronize these amazing gifts I have, and like
And this isn't your workout. This is just mindful movement in the morning. That
Exactly.
you're just like getting that blood flowing, like maybe 8 sun salutations or sit-ups or just something.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I say the best morning practice, the best movement practice is the one you're going to stick with and be consistent with.
Yeah.
So if it's walking your dog, if it's doing
Right.
20 push-ups, if it's swimming a few laps, just something to get
Dancing.
dancing is so
That's
powerful.
my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I played the same 3 songs for
Yes.
the last like 2 months,
Oh my gosh.
and like it's crazy. I'll roll out of bed, I'm so tired, and
Yeah.
like these songs just give me life.
Yes.
And exactly like you said, like you incorporate different movement patterns,
Mhm.
and it just gets you in such a good mind frame for the day.
Totally. Totally.
And I think that's why ecstatic dance is really becoming like a huge thing lately, is because it allows people like there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
There's no format. There's no judgment. It's just I'm going to play a song that I enjoy listening to, and I'm
just
just going to move
move.
my body.
Yep.
Yeah.
However I want.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, that's
express
cool.
yourself.
Love it.
So yeah, I'll keep it simple like that. And guys, this is so important. I think just 5 or 10 minutes, like show your body the love it needs.
Mhm.
And a lot of times we make excuses like, oh, I don't have time to go to the gym, and that's fine. But you shouldn't need a gym to be active.
Yes.
Make the world your playground.
Yep.
Nature is God's gift to earth, and sometimes we neglect it. I just read a crazy stat, that the average American spends 90% of his or her time in buildings,
Wow.
whether it's their house, their work, their car.
Oh, Wow, that's fascinating. That sounds right on track, sadly.
Yeah. And
Or
I
a
was
restaurant or whatever, they're
ex- ex-
inside.
and I was like I was like thinking about it, I was like, that can't be right. And I was thinking about it, I was like, that means 2.4 hours a day outside. And I was like, that's probably about accurate.
Yeah.
I know people that don't spend 2.4 hours outside.
Yep.
And,
Totally.
I mean, we're lucky that we have a little autonomy with our careers and we're able,
Yeah.
to step outside and
Yep. I
get some
work
fresh
at the
air.
beach.
Exactly.
I go to the beach. I do my writing. I have a side yard. I work outside. I walk outside. I'm definitely not that 90% in that. Yeah. I
Okay,
like to
well,
be
I'm glad we got
outside.
that.
I like nature.
Nature's key, regardless of where you are. Even if it's cold, there's some beautiful, I mean, everywhere. There's just beautiful, so much
Yeah.
beauty out there, like, to explore.
Totally. And then that's creativity, right? Going for those walks, being outside. That's what inspires us to think of new
Exactly.
brilliant ideas, new revenue streams, whatever.
Ooh, new revenue streams.
You like that?
We'll talk about that later. So lubrication and revenue streams. So, all right, we got cold, we got lubricate your organs, we got intention, we got move your body. And the last one, B, is for breathe. Oh yeah. Beautiful.
Yes.
Good.
Love
I
to breathe.
saw you breathe through your nose too.
I did.
That's how we're supposed to do it.
Oh, yeah. Tell
so
me more.
So yeah, I mean, as humans, we take over 25,000 breaths per day, and so many of those breaths are unconscious. We're not conscious. We're not aware of them. We're not intentional about them. And oxygen is our most important nutrient.
Right.
We can go. I saw this not funny. It's like a real quote, but like from this Chinese medicine book I'm reading, it says you can go 2 months without food, 2 weeks without water, but many of us can't go more than 2 minutes without oxygen.
Wow. Yeah. That's a good perspective. Huh.
And it's like we take these, we were talking earlier like about biohacking and ways to kind of like really optimize your performance in your body. And it's like, let's take advantage of our free drugs first before we look at anything outside, like water, air, cold, sleep. These things that don't cost money, but they're gonna make a huge impact. Exactly.
Yeah.
These things that are at our disposal that we often overlook.
And is there a certain type of breath work that you recommend?
Yeah, so
like if you were to be there, so like I'm going to do my breathing now. So that could be in lieu of meditation even, right? Like that could be.
Yeah, so for like meditation type breathing, meaning like you're trying to get into your parasympathetic state, like you're trying to kind of relax the body. It's really good to practice deep exhales. So if you think about a 5-second inhale through your nose and then a 10-second exhale, so 2 times longer on your exhale, that would be great to do like in a meditative state. And also if you're doing some breath work before sleeping, that'll help relax your body, drop your heart rate, stuff like that. And then if you're trying to maybe before a workout or you're trying to feel energized throughout the day, deep breaths and also box breathing. So
what's that, box breathing?
Box breathing is 4 seconds in through the nose. Then you hold your breath for 4 seconds. Then you exhale for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4, and you continue.
Just 4, 4, 4, 4.
Exactly. And you can do longer. You can do 6, 6, 6, 6, but just keep it consistent.
Yep.
And again, that's a great way to like energize your body and get into more a sympathetic state, right? Where you're ready to like get active and crush it. Yeah. So different breathing for whatever your goal or intention is. But I see like you've seen it too, is like people carry so much tension in their neck and shoulders.
Yeah.
And neck pain, back pain. A lot of this is caused because we're chest breathing, we're shoulder breathing.
Oh.
And yeah.
What was the thing you were telling me about the 6 breaths?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. So a Japanese study found that 6 deep breaths is what it takes to have a change of state. So you've probably heard it in the past, right? Like if you're stressed or you're anxious or nervous, it's like take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And that's true, but take 6 of them.
Yeah, usually at the most you like take 3 deep breaths, but
Yeah.
now let's double that, you're saying.
Take 6. I mean, what does that take? 30 seconds?
Yeah.
And it's really crazy how powerful these things are. They sound almost too good to be true.
Right. Yeah.
But it's we live in such a high pace society, which is great. We live in such an amazing time of innovation and opportunity, but unfortunately, a lot of us have sacrificed our health in the pursuit of what we think is success. But we have to keep in mind that, the more healthy, the more energy we have, the more we're just going to be able to channel that to our business, to our relationships, and it's just going to manifest in powerful ways. So don't underestimate, all these things I mentioned. Some of them might sound easy, some of them might sound weird, but all of them have profound, proven, science-based benefits behind them. So
you're saying these are all out of order. Like for Jeremy, you get up 5 a.m. What's the first thing you do? Have your water? Like, what's your order?
So
your morning routine?
So usually my routine, my order would be I wake up, I make my bed, which takes like 30 seconds.
Yep.
I accomplished the task. I did it. I made my bed. And then I'll hydrate, and then I will usually write, set an intention. Then I will usually like do my dancing practice, so moving, and I'm nasal breathing while I do that. And then lastly, I'll like take my cold shower.
Yeah.
But again, some days, like all of this stuff, I don't want it to be like so strict.
Yeah.
If again, all of this should only take like 20 to 25 minutes.
Right.
And I think if I know everyone can commit to that, regardless of how busy you are and how much stuff you have going on. Maybe it requires you to wake up a little earlier or go to bed a little earlier.
Yeah.
But that sacrifice is going to be worth it because you're going to just see so many benefits, like I said, in your energy and just your overall presence throughout the day.
Well, I think when you start your day mindfully, then you're not so much on autopilot and you're not making choices that may be not the best for you. And how do you work with people? So do you do group things with people? Do you do custom, like one-on-one journeys with people, like looking at all of it, the mindset stuff, the nutrition, the exercise? Like, tell me what you do with people.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a mix because at first when I was kind of coming up and being recognized, it was mostly for training. It was mostly for performance. I was working with athletes, different people in high stature positions, and we were mostly working on training. But what I found was like they needed more.
Yeah.
Like I can give you a kick-ass session for an hour, but what are you doing the other 96% of the day?
Right.
Yeah. So setting you up. So what I like to do generally is walk people through their typical day and then finding pockets where we can like optimize areas. Like, okay, you have downtime this time. Like, do you think we can maybe implement like a little breathing, like 5 minutes of just like maybe unplugging, turning your phone on airplane mode and do like a little meditation or going on a walk or whatever it is.
Putting in mindful moments throughout their day, right? For being more aware.
Exactly. And I think regardless of who you are and what you do, we can all do things a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
We all have a little bit more that we're not unleashing. So it's really like just building individual relationships. So to answer your question, anyone locally, I work with my local clients here, usually 4 or 5 a day. And it usually consists of, some soft tissue stuff to open up their fascia, to get blood flow. We move their body, stretch. And then for some of them, depending on like what type of program they have with me, sometimes we do more. Sometimes I'll go to the grocery store with them. And sometimes we'll do, we'll do more activities together. Maybe we'll do some writing exercises together.
Right.
But this coming year, I'm super excited because I know you've done like a lot of the remote group coaching and like you've built a lot of strong community that way. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a while, but it was like, I feel like maybe just the time wasn't right. Like I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
And I'm so ready now.
That's awesome.
So the whole idea is with this program is it's called Climb into 2019. It's going to be a monthly program, and we're going to be very active on Facebook, and there's going to be a ton of video content. And this basically each month we're going to implement new things, whether it's intermittent fasting or a different like tackling fear, overcoming adversity. We're going to work as a group to really not just optimize our like fitness levels.
Yeah.
I think everyone needs more than that.
Totally.
And I think what I've seen with like the well-run groups, whether it's Facebook or other places, is the community aspect and like the accountability is the biggest aspect and component, because so many people are missing that in their lives, like someone to hold them accountable or someone to hold their hand or talk to while they're going through this struggle.
Yeah.
And this group is, if you get the right community, it can be such a life-changing thing. So that's what I'm really looking to create.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm really hoping, and I'm confident we will create like a really unique and special group. And I'm just
your vibe attracts your tribe, man. You'll attract a great tribe of people.
That's kind of what happened with you and I.
Yeah, that's right.
And
You'll have amazing people come in. And for nutrition, are you somebody who really advocates for vegan, vegetarianism, paleo, keto? Like, what is your whole philosophy around food?
Yeah, so kind of like my training philosophy and my life philosophy, I try not to really be too dogmatic.
Yeah.
I think when you look across, I've tried pretty much every type of plan, I guess you could say. But if you look at it, most of them have the same pillar in common, same 3 pillars, actually. That's like eat real shit, like eat real food, like not processed, not genetically modified.
Yep.
Right. So eat real food. Sugar, get that out because that's going to cause inflammation. And we know that inflammation causes disease.
Yes.
So another crazy stat, I can't remember which university, but like a well-established one, they found that sugar is 8 times more addicting than cocaine.
Yeah.
And I'm not advocating to do cocaine, okay? But that is crazy. And they actually looked at brains while like on a high sugar diet, and then one that like just did cocaine, and like the receptors of the brain like
lit up the same, right?
I think cocaine, not that I'm an expert in this field, don't be confused, but I think it incites like dopamine, and sugar gets like everything, like your oxytocin, your serotonin levels skyrocket. So it's like, it's so crazy, and you crash and burn. So no sugar, limited sugar. Sorry.
There's a great movie called Fed Up. It almost looks like the FedEx logo, and it's called Fed Up, and it's all about these studies on sugar. You should definitely watch it.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh.
Like Forks Over Knives, all those great films that came out. But this one is specific to sugar, and they show like how much sugar we're supposed to have a day, and then they start pouring and show what the average American actually has a day. And no wonder obesity is happening with our children at alarming rates, and it's all because of the sugar and disease and cancer. And once it got introduced into our mainstream, that's when all the diabetes and everything started happening. So it's a fascinating film.
And what do you see? You have one kid?
I have one child, yes.
Okay, and what do you see with your son in terms of like, in terms of I'm sure all of his friends are like eating just garbage, and like they have cupcakes at school. Like, what do you do to kind of mitigate some of that damage? So
now he's 18.
Okay.
And, when he was younger, my son has never drank soda, does not like soda. I didn't introduce that to him at all when he was younger. So if you sit down for lunch or anything, he's going to order water. That's what Cole will order, is water. But
room temperature water.
Probably not. He likes cold water, and so do I, so we get to stop doing that. But he goes through phases, and now as an 18-year-old, he watches how he doesn't feel good when he has sugar. He actually asked me I don't know, a few weeks ago, not to have any sugar. He'll go through phases with it and then he'll want it again. And, at this point, he's 18 years old. When he was younger, I certainly had a little bit more control over that. I never had Fruity Pebbles or Fruit Loops in my
Right.
house. But, like, I remember his girlfriend brought over a box of Fruity Pebbles and they were eating it. And, like, what do you tell an 18-year-old? You can't have that. Like, that just doesn't happen. But he's mindful about how much it
Yeah.
affects him, his well-being. He can't sleep, so he won't have sugar now at night. He sees that. He can't do that.
Beautiful.
So, you don't have kids yet, do you?
No, I'm
So you'll
28,
see.
but
You'll
but
see.
soon. I can't wait for that day. But
It's awesome, and, there's so much you can do.
but to kind of piggyback on that, what you mentioned, like he noticed he felt
Yeah.
bad when he did this. I just encourage people to like observe and explore their bodies and how they
Yes.
respond, because I found out on my own like exploration journey that I was lactose intolerant. Like,
Right.
and this isn't something that a doctor told me, but it's like, okay, I had 2 or 3 meals in a row dairy and like I just felt like crap.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm not going to have cheese or milk. And all of a sudden I feel great.
Right.
So 70% of us are actually lactose intolerant. So I would encourage you guys,
70% of us. Wow.
because we rely on breast milk like our first 2
Yeah.
years as our main source for nutrients.
Yep.
But then as we diversify our intake of food, we don't rely on it. And it's actually like not supposed to be, especially the way we have dairy
I
here. It's
know.
all pasteurized.
So
So
no dairy, no sugar, no alcohol. No, not no alcohol. What's your stance on alcohol?
well, yeah, I mean, alcohol,
Moderation.
we don't have to listen. I mean, alcohol, it has, I don't like to say never do this, never do that. Just like be smart about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Little red wine is fine.
of course.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, just kind of know your body, know yourself, know how it's going to impact you the next morning. For
Yeah.
me, like I'm an energetic social guy without it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my days where I would drink more in school and stuff, but now I just see like how it holds me back the next day.
Yes.
And I feel like I just have to be at a higher consciousness than most of the world if I want to carry out my mission.
Yep.
And I feel like alcohol suppresses that. So
Mhm.
one last thing though before I forget, in terms of the food and nutrition, is I encourage also everyone to try intermittent fasting.
Yes.
That's like universally, I mean, there's so much science and studies behind the benefits of it.
Tell us about a little bit of it, because I do that.
Yeah.
12 to 7 is when I eat.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I have my coffee in the morning without my water before it, so I'm gonna have my water now.
And what do you put in your coffee?
I mean, I do bulletproof sometimes.
Oh, nice.
Put the ghee in there and a little bit of stevia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what time do you have that at usually?
So that I have at like 6:30 a.m.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I would probably try and have that later
Okay.
because that like kills your fast.
Oh.
Because anything really with like caloric value,
Okay.
right? Like I love bulletproof. I
Yeah.
think it has a lot of benefits for some people. But like black coffee doesn't kill your fast,
Okay.
for instance. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So the idea
What
of,
about with like a little bit of almond milk or something? Can you have anything, or just
you
black?
can have a little, but yeah, ideally
That's the point.
I put lion's mane. It's a mushroom extract in my coffee.
Okay.
It's
okay.
it's amazing for cognitive function.
I like that.
That, and I put like raw cacao. But
Mm.
the idea behind intermittent fasting is just a compressed eating window. So ideally, the most science is behind like the 16-8 model, which is kind of what you were referring back
Yeah.
to, is 16 hours of like no food intake. Of course, you can have water, coffee, and then you have, your meals in that 8-hour window. So the science behind it is just like it gives your organs and your digestive tract a huge break and rest.
Right.
And also your energy, like, I don't know if you feel it, like when you wake up
Yeah.
and you're not like, oh, I need to go eat food.
Yep.
It's like empowering and your energy is great. So I would suggest an easy way to implement this is the rule of thumb, like don't obsess over hours or time. try not to eat within 3 hours of when you go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to bed at 11, don't eat past 8. And
Yep.
same thing in the morning. Don't eat within your first 3 hours of waking. So if you wake up at 6, don't eat until 9.
Yep.
So that would be 8 p.m. to 9 a.m.
That's still a long time, though.
13 hours. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a really powerful thing for people to do. I think we've kind of been brought up like breakfast is the most important meal
See,
of the day.
that's the confusing part.
Yeah, we got lied to.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
did on a lot of things. And fat is bad, like,
Exactly.
and we know now that those good, healthy fats are so good for us.
Yeah, so I think the breakfast thing, if you're having like eggs, avocado, and grass-fed butter and like good stuff,
Yeah.
maybe like a smoothie in the morning, that's fine. But what America turned breakfast into is dessert for breakfast.
Totally.
It's
Pancakes.
it's
and-
bagels, it's pastries, it's croissants,
I know.
it's cereal. And what it does is our blood sugar levels just go through the roof, and we're fighting an uphill battle like from the first thing in the morning, and
Yeah.
it's so destructive. And yeah, so skip breakfast unless you have a good, healthy, viable option.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be surprised, like people out there, like maybe the first few days will be tough. It's not always easy to make lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be easy, but this is stuff that's going to make a big impact. So I definitely encourage everyone out there to give it a shot.
Are you a smoothie guy? Do you like doing concoctions?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Tell me, what's your favorite?
My go-to? You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. That my go-to that I've been messing with like the last couple weeks is it's like a vegan plant-based like protein powder.
Okay.
I think it's called like Vega or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's vanilla. I mix it with almond milk, Califia Farms almond milk.
Okay.
I'll give you very
Seen that.
specifics.
I've seen that. Yep.
Almond butter.
Mm.
Huge almond butter fan.
Yep.
It's better for you
You
than
writing this down, John? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And we're wrapping at
Oh yeah, 5:05.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
5:00. Keep going.
So we got the almond milk, we got the almond butter, we got the vanilla protein powder, blueberries, and then I'll put like one type of green in, either a little kale or a little spinach.
Yep.
Have to have a little ice in there for the texture to make
Yeah.
it cold. And then I'll just throw a bunch of superfoods in, like raw cacao powder, chia seeds, bee pollen, like whatever I have my hands on. I go to the yellow green farmers market.
Oh yeah. I've never been there.
You
Can
need
you
to.
believe that?
In
I'm
Hollywood.
going.
So
What is it on the weekends?
It's
Every
Saturday,
weekend?
Sunday.
Done. I'm going this weekend.
So I encourage everyone.
What is bee pollen for? Like
Bee-
I've heard of the other stuff, but not bee
To be
pollen.
honest, like it's one area I couldn't tell you like it
Like, I
does this,
just
it
put
does
it in
that.
there.
Yeah, but
It'll
I
be good
know
for you.
Mental functions.
Mental
cognitive
function.
functions. I put
Okay.
my lion's mane, but-
Lion's mane. I'm getting some of that.
but it's crazy how good it tastes. Like,
Yummy.
it's so good.
All those things you mentioned are all the things that I love to eat. Almond milk, almond butter, blueberries, like
Yeah.
kale. That's all yummy. So zip it up.
People think like eating healthy it like means like eating gross stuff.
Yeah.
It's like no, like I enjoy every one of my meals. They're all
Yes,
delicious.
They're all yummy.
Yeah, and
And that
Just gotta-
fills me up. Like when I do, like I don't think to do these things. I was so happy you were coming on the show today. I was like, I'm going to get re-inspired.
yes, let's
Yeah,
go. That's what it's
for
all
sure.
about. And
So tell
yeah.
me how you want to wrap up here, and then I want you to tell everybody how they can find you and work with you and get involved with your awesome, 2019 group that you're putting together, which
Right.
I would love to be a part of.
yeah.
See, you got one.
I'll
You got
review your
one.
application.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, that would be incredible to have you. So the best way to get in touch with me is through Instagram.
Yep.
Coach Jeremy 305. Coach Jeremy 305. My website is e3lifestyle.com. The letter E, the number 3, lifestyle.com. But I would say to end, I would just really, my call to action would be to just show yourself more love.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of people, especially I've actually seen it with like women. I know my mom and a lot of my friends too. It's like we're so concerned about like everything else going on that oftentimes we neglect ourselves.
Totally.
And there's always going to be an excuse. But guys, like if you can just commit to yourself in the morning, turn your phone on airplane mode. This is your time to shine, and it's going to really just affect every area of your life. So yeah, I just want to help educate and empower people because, you know, I think everyone has such a unique gift and everyone has so much potential inside of them. And my mission is just to help unleash that.
Yeah. And when you're healthy, you can do anything. And when you don't have that, you're exhausted and you can't leave your legacy and make your mark. So
Exactly.
it's the foundation of life.
It's all about the energy we carry. So
Yep.
I look forward to being in touch with people on Instagram, and we can talk about whatever. If you have any questions, I'm always very receptive and I'll always answer. I just want to help everyone with their journey because I know I need a lot of help. I've been helped by a lot of great people.
Yeah.
So I want to just be of service and provide value.
Great. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
That was amazing.
All
Thank you,
right.
Jen.
Thanks. Thanks, Jen.
Later.